Today we take a look at how the masses throughout the entire world are being distracted by the elite. Let's start in the past, in ancient Rome 264 BC. I'd like to add that the famous Colosseum wasn't the only amphitheater in ancient Rome. There were several scattered throughout the entire empire. The gladiators themselves were usually slaves, criminals, or prisoners of war. They would face off against not only the other humans, but also animals such as lions, bears, leopards, tigers, black panthers, and even bulls. Lions were the most popular for the spectacle and were even triumphant when fighting multiple men. According to Cicero, there was a single lion who devoured more than 200 criminals before he finally met his demise and was killed. Despite often being criminals or prisoners, were often popular in the talk of the town. It was so glamorized that so many Romans of status wanted to be gladiators that the Emperor Augustus initiated prohibitions on the aristocracy from entering the arena if you're a girl under 20 and no guy under 25 who were born of free birth. See guys, gladiators were the first superstars and celebrities through the sport at this level. It's said that a woman would sit in the arena stands and just lust over the gladiators, rather they were smooth-faced and handsome or ugly and disfigured from past brutal fights. Popular fighters were so glamorized that even had figurine sculptures made of them and were sold in town. Nothing has changed in today's society, it's just at a larger scale and the people aren't fighting till death. See guys, the gladiatorial games were just vehicles of social control and function to distract the populace from recognizing their diminished autonomy under the imperial rule. The games were distractions that kept the people subdued and unable to realize the real loss of power under the empire. The educated elite opposed the gladiatorial events and saw them as a mass entertainment for lower class people. Now let's fast forward to today and what the elite used to control the masses to keep them from focusing on them and the government and the real issues. Divide and conquer. It pits one group against another and lets them fight. Native Americans against whites, blacks against whites, red states against blue states, pro-choice against pro-life, women against men, liberals against conservatives, straight against gays, and much more. The list goes on. The fighting is endorsed and encouraged by the elite because in their unjust or illegal methods of control that if carefully examined or brought to light would most likely wake the masses up to what they've really been up to for all this time. There's no coincidence that the NFL, NBA, and MLB logos are pretty similar and each have red, white, and blue. See, you have to understand what these colors mean from an advertisement standpoint. Red is the color of fire and blood, so it's associated with energy, war, danger, strength, and power, determination, as well as passion, desire, and love. It's a very emotional, intense color. It enhances human metabolism, increases respiration rate, and raises blood pressure. The color white is associated with light, goodness, and innocence. It's considered to be the color of perfection. In advertising, white is associated with coolness and cleanliness. Blue is considered beneficial to the mind and body. It slows human metabolism and produces a calming effect. See, blue is the masculine color. According to studies, it is highly accepted among males. Blue is associated with death, expertise, and stability. It's the preferred color for the corporate America. See guys, colors are psychology. Red, white, and blue taps into every emotional crack and crevice in your body, from happy to sad to stress. It's an emotional roller coaster, hence why at games people cheer, people cry, scream, or curse, and oftentimes they fight. People get their ass beat at sporting events all the time, just look it up. People are so attached that they cannot control themselves, and on any given day can experience all of these emotions. Sport fans, short for sport fanatics, are everywhere. They hail from all economic backgrounds and they've only been multiplying every single year for over a span of decades. Every person in the world knows a sports fanatic. He knows every player of every team, all the stats. He knows exactly what happened in every game played since the beginning of recorded time. Basketball, baseball, football, hockey. It's almost a safe thing to talk about in society amongst men. Let's talk about sports events, even though we know we'll end up arguing like savages, but let's not talk about what our government's doing, what the politicians are doing, how their diseases are being created just so they can profit off the cure. I mean, And they'll think that this might be too touchy, but in reality it's not. But we're programmed to think that. And not just sports. Have you argued about homosexual marriage, gender neutral bathrooms, gun control, or climate control in the last year or two? Well, if you have, you're doing exactly what the elite want. They feed the masses propaganda on this stuff 24/7. You can't get away from it. News, vlogs, magazine, talk shows, social media, it's everywhere you look. They feed us these topics to keep us busy amongst each other, arguing and bickering, but in the end, changing nothing. We focus on that means no focus on them and the social injustice red flags that are going up all around us. And as soon as those get dull, they'll force feed us some more of what they deem hot topics to keep us mentally suppressed, enslaved, and emotional. What's one of the latest topics of this? War. Ever since we killed the Iran leader and sent troops over there, it rattled the people with fear, panic, and lots of different opinions. It's the topic of every discussion, and if you were paying attention, once they felt we were paying too much attention to them, they distracted us with a number of things. Coronavirus, Kobe Bryant death, award shows, politics, am I right? Can you right now fill us in on the latest news in Iran? No, because they hit us with a slew of propaganda to take our focus off of what they're really doing over there. And you won't find out much, just bits and pieces, because they control the media. Guys, we can go to Google right now and type in Iran update. They will show you nothing but coronavirus updates. I can't make this up. They no longer want us to focus on Iraq. We are focusing now on what they want us to focus on. I don't see how people don't see we live in a simulation style society where the majority of people are enslaved with the 9-to-5 job they don't like, which takes up the majority of their time, which I might add barely pays their bills. So they live paycheck to paycheck. When they get off of work, they don't go home and feed their brains, researching and obtaining knowledge of who we are, where we truly come from, and what our elite are currently up to. Not even working on things to achieve our goals in life, our true desires. Most are tired and go home to their favorite TV shows, fake food that's slowly killing us, drugs, alcohol, pornography, clubs, casinos, house full of kids and you have to go home and feed, fake news, social media, the list goes on. Have a million things to drain you and distract you and lower your frequency so that you kill the spark that's inside of you over time and just fall in line as a sheep in the matrix and obey. All your dreams, all your ambitions will just wither away while they use the method of overwhelming news, short memories, and the use of propaganda to advance hidden agendas. Under these conditions, there can be no thought. Modern man does not think about current problems, he feels them. He is even less capable of spotting any inconsistency between successive facts. A man's capacity to forget is unlimited. This is one of the most important and useful points to the propagandists. The elite, who can always be sure that the particular propaganda theme, statement, or event will be forgotten within a few weeks. See, we think we're free, but we're just Neo in the Matrix before he took the pill.